I'm Danny Wallace, and this is Be Inspired. Be Inspired is a safe place to have conversations that matter. We bring the very best speakers to you, and also the very best in edutainment, where we entertain and educate at the same time. This event is for businesses that are ready to get gloriously uncomfortable as we show up, wise up and rise up together.
Everyone has really got each other's backs.
What Danny's created, second to none. Nobody else is doing this.
I've cried or had, several aha moments in every one of the talks today.
Be Inspired is genuinely one of the most amazing things that I've ever done.
They have made me feel part of the community.
But everybody has just seemed to embrace me, and people talk to me like they've known me for years.
It's been really nice meeting different people, and everybody's just been so lovely.
This isn't an event for women, it's for people in business, and that energy and that inclusivity is being reflected throughout.
There's nowhere else where you'd ever feel so held and so safe and so looked after and so loved.
I feel like there's something for everybody to hear.
But what really differentiates this event is there is a huge element of love.
I've met people that I would never otherwise have perhaps connected with in business from loads of different walks of life.
There is so much that big brands and corporates can learn from the flexibility and the tenacity and the energy of young and startup businesses. Similarly, there is so much that small and startup businesses can learn from big brands, and it's my job to pull everybody together.
The ways I feel supported by Be Inspired, and in particular the Fly Anyway Foundation, is it's given me hope that I can actually achieve the visions that I have for myself in the future, such as having my own community interest company and actually having the business aid to make that happen.
You're talking about such amazing things that help you as a person and as a business in a way that doesn't feel gross.
The foundation's been amazing because it's hooked me up with people I never would have known about. I'm just off to this perfect start. From humble beginnings, where we were struggling to sell like 75 tickets, we are now selling out time and time again. Over 250 delegates, all energized, engaged, hungry for growth entrepreneurs wanted to show up, wise up and rise up. We are putting Be Inspired on the map here in the northwest of England as the place to come and collaborate, to network, to listen, to grow, to learn, and then to take action, as well as enjoying the journey together. We want you to come and get involved. Whether you are a part of the audience or indeed becoming one of our exhibitors or sponsors, this is definitely something you do not want to miss. It never fails to get me excited right at the bottom of my belly when I see that video. We are 2.5 months away from Be Inspired, March the 30th and March the 31st. This week and last week, as we've been kind of getting into the new year, we've been working with the cohort, with our speakers on developing their talks, nailing down their missions. And I'm getting off every single one of these one-to-ones with a new fire in my belly about this event, about what it is that we're bringing to the table. And when I see that, and when I know what we're creating for this one, we are going to knock it off the charts. I cannot wait. So lots of you have been in my inbox. You'll have noticed on my social media posts. Good morning, by the way. I'll get into that in a second. Hang on. You'll notice, by the way, in my social media posts or my emails or what have you, that we have some special pricing going on tickets at the moment. That runs out on the 31st of January. So we've got a bit of a January sale happening around tickets and tables. Make sure you go to IamTheQueenBee.co.uk and go and get your tickets. We are over halfway sold out. That room is selling out really quickly now. So if you want to get a hold of your ticket and go and be a part of Be Inspired, get a hold of it. Make sure you do pull your fingers out and sort it sausage. So we've got tables. You can get tables of 10 where you can all save money. Get you and 9 of your mates together. Get yourselves a table. If you've got, if you're at work, get your team together. We want to see you there on the 30th and 31st. We're going to be making some announcements. Already we've made some really exciting announcements about Be Inspired. We've got Andrew and Pete from Atomic Con are going to be speaking. We've got Joe Swan from Chocolate PR with a media panel. You're going to be able to speak directly to members of the media. We've got some surprise celebrity guests that are coming to speak with us, as well as our phenomenal Be Inspired Mastermind and lineup. They are going to smash it out of the park for you. You are not going to want to miss it. So the other thing that I wanted to tell you this morning before we kind of get into the show is there is still sponsorship opportunities in expo spaces. So one of the new things that we brought to Be Inspired in September as we moved into Old Trafford, the Theatre of Dreams, is that we've created a whole expo space where you can advertise, have a stand, and really share your business and utilize that platform to get in front of 250 to 300 engaged entrepreneurs who are warm and spicy and friendly and ready to grow their businesses. So if you've got something that will help people who have a business, a small business, a big business, if you've got something that's going to help those people, you need to have a conversation with me about how we can lift you up and get you in front of those with our sponsorship opportunities and with our expo and store opportunities. So get in my DM, slide on in there, say, hey, Danny, what you doing? And I can give you some more information. So that is Be Inspired. I've got to say that on the top end. So early bird pricing, or the January sale pricing, is going to run out on the 31st of January, and then the prices go back up again. So go and get involved whilst the going is good. That's on tickets and tables. And if you want to know more about sponsorship opportunities, getting involved with the event itself, or an expo space, get in my DMs. One of the things that I want to tell you just before we kind of get into the show is that there are some opportunities for you to be directly involved with the show as part of the flight squad. So we're going to be looking for people who want to work with us if they're experiencing the show anyway, to work with us directly as part of our flight squad. So we're going to be looking for people who's going to help us bring the energy in the room, who is going to help us get set up, who's going to help us get knocked down, who's going to help us sort of manage people and herd people through the day, who's going to help support people through the day. So if that sounds like something that you want to know more about, keep your peepers peeled, because we're going to give you some information over the next few days about how you can directly be a part of the IATQB flight squad as part of Be Inspired. So if that sounds like you want to be on the inside, you want to be part of the inner circle, you want to be part of the people that help make this phenomenal event come together. This is the first time that we're doing this. We're actually going to have a team of people. We're going to recruit in a team of people to come and help us on the day, to come and help me and support me deliver what is going to be the best IATQB event yet. So then, are we sitting comfortably? I've got a guest on this morning. We've got a phenomenal guest on this morning. I've been really excited to speak to this person. You will notice that a lot of the activity that we are engaging in as a community that I am sharing with you right now is centered around sales and marketing. Because I know, I don't know if you lot were feeling it, but just in the run up to Christmas, it felt like we were limping in a little bit. It felt like, oh, cost of living, people aren't buying, da, 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 da. And what I want to tell you is that people are 100% still buying. What we need to get right is a couple of things. We need to get our visibility right. We need to make sure that people can see what it is that we're doing, but we also need to get our messaging and our marketing right. And so over in the Hive, we've got Andrew and Pete who's supporting you through this week in the Hive Takeover. Don't ever say yes if Danny asks, are we sitting comfortably? Absolutely. If you've been to Be Inspired before, or if you have done any kind of work with me, I will ask you, are you sitting comfortably? And generically, the answer should be yes. Not in my world, babies, not in my world. I want to hear a hell no. I want to hear a fuck no. I'm feeling gloriously uncomfortable. And one of the things that we do feel uncomfortable about is sales and is marketing. So I have drafted in some of the best people that I know in this particular field to come and talk to us. We've got Andrew and Pete doing the Hive Takeover. And this morning from Cheer Up Marketing, we've got the incredible Kelly Cookson. Good morning, my sausage. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I am really good, and I'm really, really pleased to have you on the show this morning. It almost happened, didn't it, before Christmas, and I got thrown some balls, and I had to cancel. I wasn't able to do the show, so apologies. I want to publicly apologize for.
No problem. January is a better time to do it anyway, because everyone's trying to figure out what they're doing with their marketing now. So here I am. Perfect timing.
Exactly that. So the universe always intervenes, and I feel like now more than ever, what we're going to talk about today is really, really, really important. So we've got lots of focus on sales and marketing at the moment. This week, me and whoever's deciding to join in with me are doing a bit of a prize or forfeit situation around our income generating targets. So at the end of this week, if I haven't hit my target, then I've got to get a tattoo that I really don't want.
What's the tattoo?
It's of a Hello Kitty electric guitar. It's not one of me. One of my mates has got one of those guitars. Like, right, I'll get the tattoo of that, which I don't like. It doesn't really fit with my aesthetic. But if I do, I'm going to treat myself to getting my hair extensions done. Lots of people have been putting forfeits up. They're going to get into an ice bath. They're going to wear their husband's boxes for a week. I hope they'll have washed them. There's all sorts of forfeits that are going on that are pretty high stakes, and loads of ways that people are going to they're going to sort of celebrate themselves. But I want to help them, and you want to help them, Kelly, set up themselves with as much success as possible. So, Kelly, tell us about what you do.
Oh, so I'm a marketer by trade. I started this business, Cheer Up Marketing, in January 2020, just before a global pandemic. So, perfect timing, but it all worked out okay. But before that, I was a marketing manager. So I've got 14 years now working in marketing. I was head of marketing for an international software company, and then set up my own business. Basically started out as a freelance marketer, helping sort of solo entrepreneurs and SMEs with their marketing strategy, messaging, and so on. About 6 months in, I actually pretty much burnt that business down because I realized I'd created a bit of a monster and I didn't 100% love it. Had some great clients, but the work wasn't setting me on fire. I realized that I'd basically become a marketing manager for about 6 or 7 different businesses, which was bonkers. And, when you first start a business, most people go in undercharging. So I was doing that, working a lot and not making all of the money that I wanted.
Yeah.
So
we call that sort of high volume, low value work, even though actually it isn't low value work because you're doing incredible value, right? You're giving incredible value. And the problem is when you pitch yourself like that, you become a very busy, very skint fool.
Yeah, so I was that. And then sort of got to the middle of that first year. And of course, COVID and everything was going on. But I made what actually now, looking back, was a pretty brave decision. And I broke up with 90% of my clients because I knew I didn't want to do that work. So that next month I made some money, but not a lot. So it was a bit of a moment.
Yeah,
but
and it
I
happens to
niched
lots of
down.
people, right?
Yeah, exactly. But I did it because I knew it wasn't quite what I wanted to be doing. So I niched down. I was like, what are the things that I love most about marketing? What feels really easy for me to do so I can service clients really quickly and give them great results, but I'm not, slaving away all hours over their marketing plan.
Yeah.
So I was like, email marketing. I'm amazing at email marketing. I've written hundreds of emails, thousands of emails even for the businesses I've worked for, managed campaigns, love copywriting. That's a strength. So I'm like, I'm going to go all in on email marketing. And it was actually Lisa Johnson's One to Many that in the Race to Recurring Revenue Challenge that helped me to figure that out. So shout out to Lisa. But I went all in with the email. Never looked
That's
back.
coming up. Just as a second, Cal, just an aside. For anyone that wants to know more about that, Lisa Johnson's Race to Recurring Revenue will be coming up, I think, March time. So keep your eyes out for that, because just like with Kelly, that completely changed the scope of my business and really helped me focus on what it was that my, zone of genius was. And that's
Exactly
how both of us have grown phenomenal businesses off really sort of honing in on that real key area, that key zone of genius. And of course, for you, it's this.
Yeah, and it feels counterproductive, right? Because I'm just going to do email marketing and strategy focused around that as the central pillar to people's marketing campaigns. So that automatically cuts off a whole audience who want social media strategy or their website rewriting or an events management or all the other marketing stuff that I know how to do, could do. Yeah. But in all honesty, it takes me a lot of time because, like you've just mentioned, zone of genius, that was not it. So I went all in on the email thing, and overnight, everyone's coming to me going, you're the email marketing person, right? I need help with my email marketing. So I was like, oh, thank God it worked. And took it from there, really, grew a group program. And now I do that. And I also do some one-to-one kind of marketing mentoring. But 9 times out of 10, people are coming to me because they know that the email piece is something that's missing, and they maybe want to lean a bit less on social media, build out that long form content and take their marketing that way. So it worked out.
Let's talk about this, right? Because when we use the word marketing, it is really broad.
So broad.
Really, really, really broad. And when people are marketing specialists, if you think about the broad scheme of marketing, that I think it's right. If you like, there's social media, there's email marketing, there's face-to-face marketing, there's there's lots of different things that you could possibly do. What does marketing mean to you, Kelly?
Oh my God. So I'm going to dust off my degree here, right? So I did a business degree where I specialized in marketing.
Yeah.
And if only I could remember the definition from that marketing book. But
was it like the 6 Ps?
There's 7 now. There's 7 Ps. But it's like product, price, place, promotion with the original 4. And then there's like processes. Oh, now I'm being challenged, aren't I? There's a couple more. Anyway, but it's about
how often do you use all of those 7 Ps, right?
Well, do you know what? It's probably like baked into everything that I do, and like it's in there. But it's essentially about who are you selling to? What are you selling? So, with all the will in the world and the best marketing strategy, like communication strategy, what words you're putting out there and the content and so on. If the product ain't right, it's not going to sell. So product is part of marketing, or your service. I'm a service-based business, but my offerings, they have got to fit in with what my ideal client needs, what the market needs. It's market research. So you're right. Marketing is actually a huge strategic piece of work. And I think I thank my lucky stars every day since starting this business that my background was in marketing. Like, how cool is that? Because I came straight out the gate knowing, right, I need to think about my target market, and I'm going to create a website and all of this stuff. Whereas a lot of people that I work with, they've set up fabulous businesses. Like, they might be an interior designer or a weight loss coach. They've not got any experience in marketing. So I feel very lucky that I had all of that knowledge to start with, and I'm here to share it. So I want to help as many people as possible get it right.
An email specifically is probably, I think you'll agree, because it's what it is that you do, is one of the most important ways of communicating and selling and marketing to your audience. Because you got a lot of people that move into this space and they're relying solely on social media. But what about if and when, right? What about if and when? And this happens like in the circles that I move in, that people's Instagram accounts get shut down, their Facebook accounts get shut down. The whole thing might drop off a cliff eventually. There is a lifespan for all platforms. If Facebook's just kind of over the hill a little bit, Instagram's on the cusp of the way, we've got TikTok on the way up. What happens when we come over? Always being in communication and direct communication via email is probably one of the safest ways to look after your audience. Would you agree?
Oh, 100%. So we're singing from the same song sheet here, but I think the important thing to know about your social, so yes, everything you've mentioned there is true. And the other side of it is, you do not own your social media following, and you do not control when your message is shown to them. Mark Zuckerberg owns your social media following if you're on Facebook, whatever else he owns, or whoever runs TikTok, But with email, you have a lot more control over it. So it's more of a direct line from you to your customer or your potential customer. And the other thing I really like about it is, although it is technically a one-to-many communication, so you're sending one email to an entire list of however many are on there, it feels cozier, I think, because, or at least the way I teach it and the way I write is like more personal, because it's in the inbox. It's like you can have little conversations in there that aren't on a Facebook wall or an Instagram feed, or even, in the DMs. It's whatever, but I think you can write stuff, or I certainly expand on things or get more vulnerable or share more kind of juicy behind the scenes information about my business.
Yeah, it's like whisper in the ear sort of thing.
Yeah, it's like, guys, I've done this. I'm not going to say this on Instagram, but for you, I'm going to write it here.
Yeah.
And then when people reply, it just seems a little bit more like we're pen pals, almost digital pen pals.
Yes.
So I love that, like line of connection. But crucially, that email list actually is also a business asset. So if you were to grow and sell your business, and you have a substantial email list, that will add to the monetary value of your business. Social media followers are not counted in the same way.
Right.
They're just not a business asset in the way
they're more like kind of like a vanity asset, really, and like from like a PR perspective or what have you. But if we're really talking bottom line, if we're really talking turkey and we're talking about the dollar, that actually it is, your email list is kind of worth more from a fiscal point of view than potentially your following. If I think about some of the people that I know who are incredibly successful in business, and they don't have a massive following, but they really look after their copy, and they really look after their email list, and they nurture their email list. And, we often get lost in this, we need like 10,000 followers, or we need 1 million followers, or whatever it is, just because the vanity of it all. And yes, whilst it's good to have a strong following, there's gold in them.
Get them on the list.
Email. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a bit of a sod when it comes to emails. In fact, it's probably it has been one of my downfalls in the past. I was very good at doing the outward stuff. Like I'll turn up and go live all day long. In fact, I've done that before, and I like to be visible and I like to post from the heart on my socials and da 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 da. And then when it comes to doing things like launches, when it comes to regular communication, I'm just a shitbag. I don't know why, but I know that I'm not the only one, Kelly.
You're not. That's why I've got a job, right? Because people always say to me, I know I need to be consistent.
Why don't people do this?
Well, so I think what happens is with social, there is this kind of pressure to keep showing up. Like if you haven't posted, it's visible, right? Your grid has got a glaring gap. Nothing posted since October 2022.
It's like a gap in your CV, isn't it? You're frightened of not getting a job.
Whereas I think you can procrastinate on an email and no one other than your list will notice, or maybe they don't notice if you're not super engaging with them, that you haven't sent it right. I think there's also this mental block around what email marketing is and what it means to write a newsletter. And it's like, oh, it's a formal email communication. I must write it in a certain way. And people get it so that they build it up so much, or they don't know what to write about, that they just put it off, right?
Yeah.
And I think, guys, if you can write a social media post, like you're doing once a week at least, right? If you're on socials and you're showing up, probably doing stuff daily, you can write one email a week to go to your list. Just take the best key message, the thing that you want the most people to see, because if you've got 100 people on your Instagram and 100 people on email, about 10 of them on Instagram will see it versus maybe 40 of them on email because of the open rates and so on. So you want to get that message in front of as many as people as possible. Remember that when you're creating the email, because you're going to get, obviously you've got to grow the list. So that's another challenge. But I think if you're writing on social, take the best piece of that and give that to your email list because they're going to love it.
I love that. And what do you find the common blockers to this? So one of them is that, we look at a newsletter, for example. If you say to me a newsletter, all of a sudden I'm thinking, right, this has got to look nice. All of
I
a sudden
actually hate the word newsletter.
I've got to be a design wizard.
God, no.
I've got to use Canva. I don't want to use Canva. I'm shit at art. I'm shit at design. And it's got to look all singing and all dancing. Does it?
No, God, no. So, all right, there's one caveat here. If you are a product-based business and you are using your email list to sell physical products like beautiful candles or hats or whatever, yes, you're going to need photos of those products in your email to get people to click through and buy them. Yep. For service-based businesses like mine and like yours, I do not advise creating a magazine-style newsletter because one, we don't have time for that. Like, I don't have time for that.
You're in one-to-one delivery, a lot of us, or, we're actually out doing the do. So then to sit down and
we haven't got time to design all these things.
Right.
So strip all of that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
No, definitely not. So I'm giving you permission to write an email that's just plain text. So when I say plain text, you've not got a banner, you don't need a footer, you don't need any kind of fonts, no, nothing. Just write the email.
Dropping the bombs out here, Kelly Cookson.
Yeah,
you lot better be listening. We're taking away all your excuses here right now.
Yes. So it takes me from having my written email, and I always do it in a Google Doc or somewhere. Don't write it out in your email provider in case it crashes and then you've lost all your precious words. Write it somewhere else. Then you've got a big copy bank of stuff. From actually taking that finished piece of copy, uploading it into my email system, sending it to myself and testing all the links or whatever. It takes me like 5 minutes to get that thing live and sent out. So you've got no excuse if you strip back all the branding. Now, the common thing that I hear is, but my branding, I'm a personal brand. I need to have my face or my colors or my banner and all this stuff. You can still put pictures in, but think about your emails as if they're like a personal letter. So you remember I said pen pal, like you're a digital pen pal. You're writing love letters to your audience, to your ideal clients.
I love that.
Yeah, that's how I think of it. And then, stick a selfie in or something, because it is important that they see your face. And 9 times out of 10, though, your email marketing isn't your only thing that you're doing, right? So they're probably also seeing you live somewhere or photos on Instagram. So you don't need it to be this beautiful thing. And the other thing is when you hit send on that email and it goes off to, say, Gmail or Hotmail or Yahoo or whatever, if you've got loads of pictures and branding in, it comes out different at the other end on different email providers. So you've got to test it across all those platforms to make sure it doesn't come out skew-if, as I'd say.
Or even go into junk as well sometimes if it's like overloaded with stuff. So amazing. It's so amazing so far in terms of like, let's simplify this. Let's stop overthinking this. And we do this a lot in all areas of our businesses. We overthink the things that we don't want to do to try and talk ourselves out of it. I think another one of the things that often comes up is that I haven't got anything to say. I've not got anything to say. Like, what am I going to email people about? They're not going to be bothered about what it is that I've been doing, or I don't even know what I've been doing. I've not even been like considering it. I've not been thinking about it, let alone about to write to my digital pen friend about this. What would you say to those people?
All right. So this comes back to content pillars, right? And knowing your ideal client. So it's that wider marketing strategy.
Yeah.
But you're right. There's nothing worse than sitting down to write an email, like pressure is on. It's got to go out tomorrow or today or whatever. And you've got zero clue of what you're going to write. That blinking cursor just staring you in the face. It's like pressure. So to get over that and to be able to sit down and know what you're writing about, you need, I think it's 3 things. You need to know who your ideal client is, for number 1. So what do they care about? Think about their pain points, the transformation that you provide. If you're not sure on this, do some market research course. So I love jumping on 15-minute coffee chats with folks who look like my ideal client, and I'll ask them questions around how they feel about their marketing or what their business goals are. How do you feel about email marketing? And they'll tell me all the stuff that you've told me, Danny. So I'm writing it down. So there's a good shout then of what you've got around your ideal client. So you know who they are. The thing number 2 is you need strong content pillars, because you're going to cycle through those with your email, not a newsletter. So
with your love letter to your audience.
Yeah, your love letter. It's not a newsletter. No one wants to sign up for news. So actually do not ask people to sign up to a weekly newsletter, because they won't.
Yeah, exactly.
So you need to think about your content pillars. The way I come at this is I think it's about 3 to 5 key messages that you want to grab your ideal client by the shoulders and shake them and go, guys, this is what you need to understand about this thing that I do. Like, it's so important. Yeah. It's not the list of services that you provide. So, you know, if you're a wellness coach, it's not about necessarily diet, exercise, or turning your phone off at night. It's about the actual things that you wish your ideal client understood and that you want to stand on your digital soapbox and shout proudly about and, you know, get passionate on. All the stuff that you do, right, in Be Inspired and trying to get people's stories out.
Love it when we get our ranty pants on. Like, what do you give a shit about? What do you care about? Because if you care about it, then you're going to talk like you care about it. And if I care about it, and you can see I care about it, all of a sudden you're going to be thinking, even if you've not thought about it, oh, she really cares about that.
Yeah,
I think I care about that now too.
People to you. Yeah. So think of it this way, right? Your content pillars have got to get your ideal client up to speed with why they should care about the thing that you do. Because if they don't care about it, they will not part with their time, money, or energy to work with you on that thing. So you've got to get these messages down in a copy bank. You'll have maybe the overarching themes of these things that your ideal clients must understand. And underneath those overarching themes, you just want bullet points of stories you can tell that back up that point. So it might be your own story, stuff you're seeing in the market, client case studies, things that annoy you that you see online that back up that thing. So when you sit down to write your email and you're like, right, I need to cycle through my content pillars. I've not written about this thing in a while. I'm going to pick one of those topics under there. Or, you know, something happened to me this week actually that fits under that content pillar. I'm going to write an email about that. So you're always on track with the messages that matter to your ideal client. So therefore, you're always going to be moving them along that buyer's journey. If you go off topic and start writing about stuff that's not relevant to your ideal client or not under those careful content pillars, you can accidentally move people away from buying from you. So it's important that you get those down and that you're ready to shout about them.
And that's so as not to confuse people, right? Because if I'm talking about speaking one day and you know, speaking is attached to Be Inspired, so that kind of makes sense. But all of a sudden I start talking about, I don't know, what's something that's like on the opposite end of the scale. I start saying, right, well, I'm selling candles now. That's going to confuse people unless it sits within something that makes sense. So like Fly Anyway, for example, I have a merch line and that's going to raise money for the Fly Anyway Foundation. So it makes sense if I start talking about product, I talk about it in conjunction with the topic. If I suddenly just say, well, yeah, I'm going to be a part of a luxury candle brand now, like it just doesn't make sense unless exactly that. You know, is she selling me candles? Is she what we're doing? So that, I mean, that's incredible. Like in terms of like a top tip for all of you listeners. I hope you're not taking notes this morning. Kelly is bringing the fire for you. one of the other things that I absolutely love about you, Kelly, is that you have trained with some phenomenal people. So we've already, we've already made mention to Lisa Johnson and in terms of your business and understanding your business. But I think one of the things where you really help your clients is your understanding of language and your understanding of psychology. And you've trained with a phenomenal Nick Pigeon. Tell us more about that and how that applies to Cheer Up Marketing and the work that you do.
Oh, cool. I'm so glad you asked me about this. So it's funny, right? Because I called my business Cheer Up Marketing in the beginning, just thinking that my strapline was cheering for your business online. So I wanted to like get people more visible through their marketing and get more eyes on them and more customers, right?
Yeah.
And then, when was it? Beginning of 2022, it must have been. I started working with Nick Pigeon in her mastermind. And if you don't know Nick, she is an amazing businesswoman, but
she's
also
sunshine.
She's sunshine, yeah. She lives in LA, so it's very sunny there. But she's also a positive psychologist. So what I didn't realize when I got into Nick's world and in her mastermind was that she was going to be positive psychology-izing me. So I found that it was actually really powerful in terms of mindset and how I was showing up, thanks to her support with that. And I was like, this is the missing piece. Like my clients, I'm giving them email strategies, helping them with their copy. But sometimes there's this thing that's holding them back.
They're cock blocking themselves, and it's themselves.
And it's their mindset. So throughout, learning more about Pos Psych from Nick, I ended up over the summer of last year training as a certified positive psychology coach. So now I've actually got the toolkit to bring, well, not just to myself, but to my clients to actually help them feel freaking amazing and show up and be proud of that stuff that they're putting out there and set ambitious goals and have the, what's the word, like the mental strength and the get up and go, the motivation, the engagement with what they're doing to actually go ahead and hit those goals. So I'm mashing marketing and mindset together, which I think is very exciting.
It's exciting, but necessary. I think the thing is it's okay knowing everything that you need to do. And this is called the Show Up, Wise Up, Rise Up show. And the whole premise of it is that rising up is the goal, right? Is that whatever the success looks like for you. Do you want to buy a house? Do you want to make money? Do you want a massive business, big following, whatever it is that you want? And there's two things that you have to do in order to get that thing, whatever the goal is. One is you've got to learn what you need to learn in order to do the things. If you knew how to do it and you were showing up, you'd be doing it. So you've got to learn what you need to learn. It's all well and good having the strategy and having the know-how and having the knowledge, but if you don't show up for it, it's not going to happen. And that's often where a lot of us fall down, especially those of you. And if I'm looking at you and you feel this resonates with me, I'm looking at you and if this shoe fits Cinderella, then put the bloody shoe on. That if you are one of those that goes around doing course to course to course to course to course, and you're not doing anything with that information, you're not showing up, and you need to understand why that is. And I think that, Kelly, when you're working with your clients, that having that in your arsenal of awesome as a tool will move you from being somebody who knows something to somebody who does something. And I think that's a really important, one of the aspects of working with you, I guess, is that you have that kind of cheerlead, like Emmy Merriwest is saying, my emails are so much better since Kelly kicked me up the bum. And I think that we need that from the people that we work with in our teams, right? Is that loving arm around the shoulder, that firm kick up the bum when you need it, and understanding that that's safe and that's okay. And then you get to show up for all the things that it is that you want.
Exactly that. And it's really important to know why you're doing stuff. So, just part of this whole crazy entrepreneurial journey that I've been on for the last 3 years, I never knew when I first handed in my notice, went full-time with Cheer Up Marketing, this like spiritual journey, the inner work that I was going to have to do. Because in my corporate life, there was none of that. If you did personal development, it was like learning how to use a new piece of software or maybe getting a bit of management training just to climb that ladder. And then when I was on my own, like sitting here at my kitchen table, I was like, oh God, like I feel like there's something missing. And that was the mindset piece. So really, I started on my journey with that when I burned down my original business and started again, and have just been really interested in how to develop myself to show up as the entrepreneur that I want to be. And it's ongoing. You can never stop. This work keeps going on and on and on. You've never nailed it. No. But the thing about positive psychology is I've got this toolkit now of things where I can recognize if I'm feeling stuck or, in a negative frame of mind, how to kind of get over that, adopt a growth mindset, learn from challenges, go to that next level, tap into why am I doing all of this work? Like, because don't know about you, Danny, but I get very focused on money. It's like, right, I want to make this much money. I want to do this.
Yeah, it's very
and
easy
actually,
to
it's not
do.
always about that. Yeah, like my motivation is really to be around my daughter. Like she's 5. I want to take her to and from school every day and not need a childminder. So I want to work 20 hours a week is what I work. That's my goal. It's actually not 100% about the money. It's about the lifestyle I want to create. So remembering that and POS Psych helps me to do that, or even identify that in the first place, is a huge driver for getting out of bed and cracking on.
Absolutely.
Getting emails written.
That's it. Getting shit done, and getting shit done in the time that, you kind of want to get it done in. I think when you put the work will always fill the time that you give it. And I think that as entrepreneurs, what we do is we give ourselves this infinite amount of time, like all day, all night, 24 hours a day. Actually, if you only gave yourself the 5 hours in the day, or the 3 hours, or the 6 hours, or whatever it is that you want to work, the work will always fill the time. So if you're clocking in and clocking out, all of a sudden you'll find that the work is still going to happen. You'll make it fill. When people talk about the 4-day work week and how people actually become more productive because they spend less time aimlessly doing shit just to get through the day.
Ironically,
really
answering emails. Which, for an email marketer, but I don't check my inbox first thing or spend much time in there at all. It's about carving out that time to do the deep work of the things that are going to, hate this phrase, but I'm going to say it, move the needle.
Move the needle. I was going to say that.
But like, I think it's such a weird phrase, but honestly, like you've got to, things will take as much time as you give them. That's on a post-it note in my office. And I do live by that. So
amazing. So Kelly, what have you got coming up? How do we get involved with you and the things that you do? What's happening in the near future that we can come and find out more about?
Yeah, cool. Well, first of all, I want to point you to my website because I've got a bunch of free stuff on there. So if you're struggling with the email side of things, I've got an awesome subject line guide, some creative ideas on there, a masterclass on how to get more clicks on your email. So go to cheerupmarketing.com/free and there's a bunch of stuff. There's also a free instant access mindset and marketing masterclass on there that I've recorded for you. So you can watch all of that. Just jump on my email list. If you download any of those free things, you'll get my email. So you'll start to hear from me. You can be my digital pen pal as well. So I can write you my love letters. But I just want you to be in my world. Learn as much about email marketing, the POS Psych as you can. I think it's really essential kind of tools and things that we have at our disposal as entrepreneurs. So grab my freebies. Come follow me on Instagram because as much as I go on about email marketing, I do love a bit of Instagram. So I'm at Cheer Up Marketing over there. Yeah, just come in my world, say hi, ask me anything about emails or POS Psych. My DMs are always open.
Amazing. Kelly, thank you so much for joining us on the show Rise Up show this morning. Emmy Mantle's just signed up. She's ready to get the love letters from you, my darling.
I'll send you one.
It has been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for being so generous with what you know, particularly about your incredible zone of genius. It's been a pleasure to speak to you.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thanks for having me.
So that was Kelly Cookson from Cheer Up Marketing. Please do go and check her out over on the Instagram. Go and check her out on her website. All the links are on there. We'll pop the links as well on the comments. Hope you've enjoyed this morning. Hope it's giving you a little bit of an insight into copy specific stuff, email specific stuff. Strip out all of the barriers that you are putting up against you doing this. And remember, keep it simple, sausage. That's what we want you to do. So the simpler you keep it, the easier it is for you to crack on and get it done. So that's us showing up, wising up, rising up for today. I hope you've enjoyed our Wise Up Wednesday. I will see you on Friday, where I may or may not be a little bit hungover. I'm just going to put this out here right now. So on Thursday, I am going to be hosting the Great British Women in Business Awards in London, which I'm very excited about, in conjunction with the glorious folks at Ideas Forum. And then on Friday, I'm going to a rave. An actual rave. I've never been to a rave before, but Stephen Bartlett is putting on a rave on Friday in central London. So your girl's going to be going to that, which is a little bit mental. The Diary of a CEO rave. So expect lots of stories to come from that. I'm going along with fantastic Amy Bates from Beauty Rebellion, Jojo Smith from Creative Sass, Sam Squire from Curious Entrepreneurs, and also the incredible Fran James from Ideas Forum and the Great British Entrepreneur Awards and Ideas Fest organizers. So yeah, we're gonna have a blast. I'm gonna get some spies on the inside, share with you what I'm gonna get up to in the next couple of days. And finally, before I leave you, got a big thing happening today and I'm not allowed to tell you about it. Why am I saying it? Because if you could send me some good vibes, it means big things for all of us, but I've got a massive meeting today. So keep your fingers and your toesies crossed for me. And as soon as I can let you know about the outcomes from that and what that's all about, I will tell you. But no, it's a big thing. And it's going to mean big things for all of us. So hope you've enjoyed today. I'll see you on Friday for more Showing Up, Wising Up and Rising Up. I love you. Draw.